All right, so we love this segment. We've been doing it now every Monday, just after the 11 o'clock news now for months. How much should fill in the blank cost? Where we look at common goods, common services, and just try and make sure you're not getting hosed, that you're not paying too much for things. Today, this week on How Much Should Fill in the Blank Cost, we are looking at heating. And we've brought in a real special guest to make sure we can answer your questions on the subject. Our pleasure to welcome Walter Assi onto the show, president of Renovco, and of course, host of the Home Improvement Show on the Home Improvement Show, Saturday, 9 a.m. on CJAD. Walter, thanks for coming in on a Monday.
Always a pleasure. I won't miss a chance to see you.
No, seriously. We have a bit of a bromance, and I love that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, by the way. So our phone lines are open. 514-790-0800. Text line as well, 514-790-0800. If you have a question related to heating your home. It's October 27th. By now, I think everyone has had to, turn on the heating by now. I always try and keep it I think my record is October 20th. This year, I think it was October 15th where I turned on the heating. So, Walter, thanks for coming in this morning.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, so I'll throw a few questions at you, and hopefully it'll jog our listeners as well to ask their heating questions, make sure they're not paying too much for their heating. First things first, I want to ask you about heat pumps, okay? That's all the rage, right? Heat pumps. If you were to install a system today, you're looking at heat pumps. Tell me what the latest is in home heating.
I mean, the great thing with heat pumps, obviously, that it comes so far right now, technologically speaking, that we can heat up the house up to minus 35, which makes electric heating a lot more affordable. In the past, we used to have to combine, natural gas or oil with electricity. Now it's not that much of a concern to have dual heating. So heat pumps typically take a lot less energy than furnaces, and that's the point. That's why it's very popular. I mean, obviously, you have the air conditioning in the summer, which is great. And they're becoming more and more affordable, especially now there's a lot of subsidies.
Yes.
So that even makes it more attractive.
You know who else loves heat pumps? The government, right? They're throwing so many subsidies at heat pumps. Let me throw one thing before we get into the cost there. Yeah. So, I live in NDG. I'm renting a place, and actually, I've got two systems. I've got the heat pump system, which is, energy efficient and fantastic. I also have the old style radiators, those big cast iron radiators. That's on natural gas. And every time winter rolls around, this is, third winter in my place, I'm like, oh, what should I be using? Should I turn on just the heat pumps? Do I need to turn on the radiators? Do I do radiators first? The heat pumps are supplemental. How should I be using my heating?
You know what? If I had hot water radiators, I would go with that all day long.
All day long. Why?
It's the healthiest type of heat because it does not dry up the air. It's actually comfortable and it's very efficient. Retrospect, I wish every house had hot water rads. But the only problem with hot water rads is they don't give you AC. There's no ducting.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I would use a heat pump for cold air, for air conditioning, and in your case specifically. Yeah. And the other issue that you probably have the split system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the split system for heat is not as efficient because hot air rises, and typically these are installed high up.
You're exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to be heating more the ceiling than the floor, and that's not what you want.
But what about the cost versus electricity and natural gas? Part of me says, electricity is so cheap, so maybe I should be using, and it's efficient. They say it's efficient.
Correct. So in hot water, it's actually the natural gas will cost you less.
Okay.
Yeah. So why? Because natural gas heats up a lot faster than electricity.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in this case, you'll have savings throughout.
All right. So I'm turning on the beautiful, and they're beautiful too, the old cast iron radiators. Yes. They've got style. They've got all that. That should be my main pick.
And they're heavy as heck. I don't know if you had to replace one. But.
No, but I was walking I was walking on the street the other day, and someone was doing major renovations in their home, and all of the cast iron ones were outside. I guess they were taking them and cleaning them, or they were going to rejig them. You would no one should ever remove those from their homes, right?
My God, I mean, unless you want to throw your back.
Yeah. All right. I have a listen. I have a question here, right, from a listener that says, "I'd like to know why our electricity is as expensive as it is." Now they say, "I know it's not as expensive relative to other places. That's not my question. I'm wondering why it's expensive well, we're selling overs that we have to the U.S. So they're saying, hey, shouldn't we reduce the cost of our electricity instead of selling it to the U.S.? I mean, maybe that's not up your alleyway, Walter.
I mean, look, in retrospect, a lot of things are more expensive than they should. I mean, our taxes should go down as well, if you want to say it this way, right? So,
yeah, true. Very true. Okay, so on the heat pump systems and the subsidies, what is available now for someone who's got to think about upgrades?
So you can have a subsidy up to $5,000 from Hydro-Quebec. Depending on, and that's very important, depending on the brand you'll have and the strengths of the brand and the efficiency of the brand, you will have different brackets. So it's very important that you ask your your CVAC technician, what are the options, and to get the heat pump that have the most, if you want, subsidies as a brand. I've looked at one actually last week, and there was about $800 for the same exact power, for the same exact tonnage, between one brand and the other brand, just because there was more efficiency in one than the other.
How do you make the determination that it's time to upgrade your heating system? Because I'm thinking about like operating costs, right? So let's say you've got a costly system. It uses heating oil. It's expensive, right? But to pay for a whole new system is a whopper of a bill all in one shot. So how do you balance like elevated operating costs versus biting the bullet and saying, okay, I'm tearing it out. I'm going in with a new efficient system?
That's a great question. So when it comes to heat pumps, we'll start with heat pumps because furnaces tend to break down a lot less, right? Heat pumps are really the more, if you want, costly problem. Compressors usually have an age to a maximum of 10 years. And afterwards, they start giving you problems. So once you are approaching that age, if you wish, and where the compressor could potentially break, then you should start thinking about a newer system. On an average, a repair on a heat pump is anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. A brand new heat pump is $5,000.
Yeah.
Plus, you have subsidies to kick in as well. So, up to some cases I've seen up to $1,500, $2,000 shaved from the price. So you end up paying maybe $3,000, $3,500 for a heat pump. Versus paying $2,000 on repairs, and then again, they're not efficient. 10 years ago, they would heat up to -12, -18 in the good days, right?
Yeah.
So already you're losing by paying more on the furnace.
Am I saving in my month? Like I'm thinking about the monthly costs. Like, will my average bill, right, your electricity bill, will it go down enough to make up for the extra cost of installing a new system?
100%. Because the older system right now, your furnace is kicking in, I would say 70-80% of the time. With a new system, your furnace kicks in maybe 3-4% of the time.
Gotcha.
So there's a big advantage there. So you will definitely see it on your heating bills.
Okay, we're going to have more with Walter Assi coming up. Are you spending too much money on heating? We're trying to save you a few bucks on heating this morning as we talk about how much heating should cost with Walter Assi, president at Renovco. And of course, you hear him every Saturday on the Home Improvement Show right here on CJAD 800 at 9 a.m. Mike, hang tight on the phone lines. We're going to get to our phone lines at 514-790-0800 in just a second. Walter, I do want to ask you, though, off the top here about smart thermostats, okay? Yeah. Whether it's the ones that Hydro-Quebec has Hilo and they can install smart thermostats, or you could go to the hardware store and buy Nest and all types of manufacturers now. They make these fancy $300 thermostats that can control the heating in your house and lower it automatically and detect if you're in the room or not. They cost a lot of money sometimes. Are they worth it?
They're worth it if you use them adequately. I mean, the whole idea behind them is that they're programmable.
Yeah.
So if you're out of the house, you don't need to have the house at 21, right? You can have it at 17 degrees while you're out. You can, during the night when you're sleeping, you can lower it. So this is how it becomes really beneficial for you. But just to have them on the wall and you're not proactively thinking about what you're doing is not going to do you much. You have subsidies up to $100 per thermostat. So that's also good. It kicks in. The Nest ones, what's good about them is that you can have them on your phone. So if you are you're going to be late because you have a meeting running late and you want to bring down the heat for a few more hours, you could. So there's a lot more flexibility as far as planning ahead with these.
One of the things that I've heard from people, I don't know if they're just talking, and they don't actually have no proof or evidence here, but I've heard people say, oh, well, when you use those smart thermostats, let's say it's you're heating at 21. Then you leave the house and you drop it to 17. And then before you come home, it raises back up to 21. I've heard people say, oh, well, you know how much it has to use more energy to get right back from 17 to 21, that it's actually best to just keep it at 20 or 21 the whole time. Is there any truth to that?
That's partially correct. But here's how you program it. Every half an hour, you should increase temperature by half a degree. So you shouldn't, by on command, go from 17 to 21, because you're gonna kick your furnace on overdrive. It's not gonna be your heat pump that's gonna kick in. It's gonna be your furnace, and that's why you're paying a higher price.
Gotcha.
So it's a gradual increase as well.
Low and slow for the increase, right? To not jack that up. Okay.
That's correct.
Let me go to Mike on our phone lines. Mike's in Rosemere. Hi, Mike.
Yes, hello. How are you?
What's your question for Walter?
All right. I'm in the process of getting quotations to replace the furnace and my heat pump. They both work, but I'm being told by my HVAC guy that it would be much more efficient. My heat pump, there's some sort of a valve that switches from hot to cold that doesn't work. So in the winter, I'm strictly heating with electricity, with the electric furnace. My question is, I see that Hydro is offering all kinds of different rebates. Which brands would get me the best rebate? Secondly, the fellow who's dealing with me now is recommending a company called Cree, C-R-E-E. Whether it's good, I read up that it's kind of low end. And what should I pay for a new system, new furnace and heat pump? I think it's a 2.5 ton.
Okay, so the Cree is what you call a commercial quality, and it's not a question of the low end. They have a good price values, quality value, if you wish. A lot of these furnaces are actually manufactured, believe it or not, in the same place in China. So I'm not going to go over the brands, but I know there's a whole bunch of them that's coming from the same supplier. So, I mean, as far as technology is concerned, they're very similar. Cree is if you want, in the medium end of things. As far as heating, they go up to -30, not -35. The other thing is noise decibels. They're not, there are models that are quieter if, for example, you don't have much space between you and your neighbor, or the heat pump is right by your bedroom window. So you might want to consider lower decibel models. But beside that, it functions well. As far as the subsidies are concerned, the government doesn't go by brand. I mean, that is really not supposed to be allowed anyways. You're not supposed to favor a company over another. They go by the efficiency, by the model efficiency. So, what I would do as an exercise is I would choose two different brands and see what the subventions are, the same exact specs. And then, it's one way to know which model is more efficient is by how much more the government is paying.
Mike, that answer your question?
Pretty much. Just can you give me an idea of what I should pay for a general, obviously, for both a furnace and a heat pump replacement?
So, I mean, in your case, because you're 2.5 tons, anywhere between, again, because there's a big variance, so anywhere between $10,000 to $13,000 would be your sweet spot.
All right, Mike?
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you so much for the info. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling, Mike. Be well. Okay, here's a question on the text line from Carlos. Writes this, Walter. We got rid of our oil furnace, not the pipes they add, and installed baseboard everywhere. Unfortunately, there's now a lot of cold drafts in winter. Can we get a subsidy to reinstall a hydro water furnace to make the house cozier? That's from Carlos.
So you can get a subsidy for anything that's going to make your house more energy efficient. Now, electric baseboards in general, as far as I'm concerned, are the worst type of heating you can put in your home. And they are, more importantly, the unhealthiest type because they dry up the air the most. They burn the air particles, and that's not what you want. So definitely you could look into having subsidies, and typically it's the company that you're going to hire to do that work for you that will tell you exactly how much money you're getting back based on the model you're installing.
So let me go over to our phone lines and scooch over to Nicholas in RDP. What's your question, Nicholas?
Yeah, I'm just wanted to share that you had a great point, a great idea that those programmable thermostats really, really work. I reinstalled them. I live in a condo. I live in a large 5.5, and because of nature and all that, the heat from downstairs comes up, so I don't have to use it as much. As for programming the time that I leave the house, and I program it for it to come down, and when I get back, it just shoots back up. And I have a decently insulated, so I just wanted to say those programmable thermostats save me a lot of money.
Well, there you go. So not a question, but a kudos. I appreciate it on the phone line here. I want to talk to you about lowering costs, okay? Mm-hmm. What we can do. Top of mind, especially for wintertime, is insulation. You know, I mean, Carlos had mentioned drafts and that kind of stuff. That's a killer if you're getting drafts, I imagine. So what can we do to lower our heating costs?
So if you're a DIYer and you are late in the season, if you have drafts because your windows are old, start by caulking, and there are films you can install on windows to stop the drafts from coming in. Closing curtains can help as well. So that's from a DIY perspective. Yeah. Also from a DIY perspective, if there's any holes where cords, electric wires are coming in, or pipes that are not well insulated around, well formed around, that's a good thing that you do right now. But as far as going more in depth, we're talking about attic insulation and the rim joist insulation. These are often the two most forgotten things in insulation. Attic insulation is super important because heat rises, so you're going to be heating the outside, and then you're going to create condensation in your attic, which you're going to create mold, and then ice dams, and nothing good comes out of it. Rim joists is one of the weakest spots in your home as far as insulation, and older homes are often non-insulated rim joists. So that's one thing that I would do right away.
A question here from Jeremy. Who helps with my hot water radiator system? Do I ask for an electrician, a plumbing company? Do I need that tune-up? That's from Jeremy.
A plumbing company that specializes in heating. So it's plumbing and heating.
Plumbing and heating. Okay, great. And I have a question from a listener saying they're asking for thoughts on Daikin. Is Daikin a good option for heating pumps?
So, I mean, the idea with brands, again, I'm going to say it, a lot of these manufacturers have very similar technology, and some of them even have the same source as far as the factory is concerned. There's not one brand that I would recognize one or the other, but I mean, it's the availability of parts and technicians, and Daikin have both.
And what warranty? Like, what kind of warranty do you want?
Typically, 10 years would be a good warranty starting point. So it's 10 years on material, 1 year labor. That's the basic that you'll find out there now.
Walter, going to have to leave it there. You're amazing. Thank you so much for coming in studio as well. We really appreciate it. And come back real soon, okay?
Absolutely.
You can catch Walter Assi, the president of Renovco, every Saturday at 9 right here on CJAD.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.